Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and today we're coming back with another Holofix Switch, and this one's from TTC. This is going to be the Noble Horse, and I'm actually quite curious about this one because I did like the horse series that they were doing. It actually sounds quite nice. It's a little bit different than, say, the other thocky, like really deep sounding Holofix switches out there, where it has its own little crispiness to it. And I'm curious of this one, so let's go straight into the video, but please make sure to like and subscribe. Now introducing the TTC Noble Horse. Now this is an updated horse switch, which is going to be a little bit cheaper, which is great to see because honestly guys, HE switches were just too expensive. Now, I believe this is one that they did with MCHOSE, but of course we're gonna have to hear if there's any changes and how the switch is. Honestly, the horse switch is something that I really enjoy. You can really hear that there is a good solid sound to it, and it has something that's a little bit more interesting than, say, a lot of the other just regular deep HE switches. Now in terms of the travel, so it's supposed to be 3.4 millimeters, and as you can see there, when we go from 15.3 millimeters down to 11.9, we are getting 3.4 millimeters. So one of the things that I did notice is that a lot of switches nowadays for HE is just very, very low travel, which I'm not a big fan of. In terms of how loud these switches are, they're actually not incredibly loud. Now, it is still going to be in the 60 decibel point, so you're looking at an average of about 61 to 62 decibels, which is going to be decently loud, but not incredibly loud like, say, clacky switches. So overall, if you have a plastic case board, you should really get a decent sound from them. Overall though, I feel that the horse switch is going to be one of the better switches out there for HE in terms of the feel as well as the sound that you get. It is really done well in terms of the stock. As you can see, the bottom is a closed off bottom. And another thing you'll notice with the spring is it's a little bit long. It's a single stage spring, and we're looking at a total length of about 21 millimeters. I think that's really nice. I would love to see some changes in this as well. Something that I personally would love to have in terms of HE switches is going to be something longer, as well as triple stage, and just have the bounce back a bit faster as well, because overall one of the things with the HE switches is that their top out sounds aren't always the greatest, and it's a bit too loud. These are things that I would love to see changed in overall HE switches, and I think even with this horse switch, the stem itself is quite well done. It's going to be a little bit more stable, as you can see with the shape of it. I do appreciate the specific shape that it has, And overall, the stock lubing is actually very decent. The stock lubing doesn't really require mode lubing on top, but if you do want something a little bit quieter with the sound and you want something slightly deeper, you can add a little bit of extra lube. Now you don't want to do too much, just a little bit, because if you have too much, it will get a little bit slow and you might get the switches stuck. Now, in terms of how light these are, they feel super light. Because they're 35 grams, you are going to get a very, very light switch, which it means that when you are resting your fingers on top of the keys, you can have a chance of it actually pressing. Even the top out sound is still there in terms of that magnetic top out sound that a lot of people don't enjoy. Now, in terms of the top end, you do get very, very little rattling, which is great. So that means the switches can be a little bit more stable in terms of lower actuation points, which is a great thing to see. But because they're light, you are going to have a little bit of issues with that. And then when you press it down, at least there is no stem wobble as well. Now, in terms of the backlighting is actually really good. You are going to get very accurate lighting with these and very bright lighting. Overall, my thoughts in terms of the TTC Noble Horse is that it is a nice switch. I mean, it's different than most of the Hall effect switches that are currently out there. I would say it has like the deepness to it, but it has also a little poppiness to it. It's kind of its own thing, which is what I like about it. The fact that it's kind of its own thing and not very similar to like all the other Hall effect switches out there. Now, the pricing wise, it's gotten better. It's still not the cheapest switch, but I would say the pricing's definitely gotten better. It's under $1 USD per switch, which is nice. I would love to see it just reduce a little bit more. I think 70 cents would be a nice spot, I think, right now for holofix switches. But I would love to see them actually even go lower. Like, the fact is, mechanical switches are sitting around the 35 cents a switch mark. It'd be nice to see these switches kind of get closer to that point, especially with Hall effect really becoming more of a thing and getting more and more popular and more companies doing it. So I'd love to see that happen. Of course, check out the other videos I got, and I'll have to catch you guys next time.